Start, yeah. So, thank you so much for accepting my invitation for live music interview. It's very honored today to see you in person and chatting with you. And welcome to my channel for live music interview. And today I will ask you 9 questions in 40 minutes. It will be so nice for the quick interview. But in the future, I'm decided to make a part two.
Hi, thanks for having me, Omar. It's a great pleasure, great honor to be on your program and podcast. And I've heard several other interviews with some other individuals that I admire and admire your music as well. So it's a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my friend. So, should we start?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. So, a music interview with the composer Billy Denk. And question one. So, my first question I want to ask you: how do you start making electronic music? I want to know your journey in music, first by far.
Yeah, for sure. I first began creating electronic music after playing rock music and jazz music, maybe a long time ago in the 1990s, early 1990s. I purchased a Roland Juno 30, which I still have. It's behind me, and a Roland R5 rhythm machine, and start creating tracks on a little tiny Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. So that was probably the beginning of creating that type of music, because I was interested in, I had a diverse background of sounds and genres that I listened to, but I was really starting to get interested more after hearing Hearts of Space, Musical Starstreams, those programs back in the 80s, and you'd hear Steve Roach, Raphael, Kevin Brahaney, and Bill Douglas were
Steve
some of the
Roach.
people. Yeah,
Steve
for
Roach is a
sure.
pioneer in ambient.
Yeah,
I do so much
yes.
respect to him.
I've
He's a
heard
music
him
pioneer.
several times. Yeah, I've heard him several times at shows, and still am amazed at what he creates. Yeah, a great inspiration for me when I was starting to make electronic music. And then, I was also playing, like I was saying, jazz. I was in jazz groups for a long time up until recently. And then listened to a lot of impressionist music, Debussy, you name it, industrial music, techno pop, Depeche Mode, stuff like that. So, Depeche Mode had a great electronic sound as well. Much different than ambient, of course, but those were a lot of what I was listening to and how I started creating electronic music.
So that's your journey. Nice journey from jazz
Yes.
to ambient to pop. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
for
great
sure.
journey. So long journey. You are a various artist. You listen to a lot of genres.
Yeah, and the the thing is, listening to music that moves you, moves your heart, and inspires you.
Yeah.
A lot of great jazz music does that, and I'm not talking about only classic jazz or straight
So
ahead
hard.
jazz, but
Jazz so
yeah,
hard. So hard.
yeah, it's a language, so you learn the language, and then you can express yourself using that language. There are
Of course.
rules to the language, and of
Of
course, as we
course.
know, with spoken language, rules can be broken, and so that's what's the beauty of this type of music is, you can do this. And then um, I met Steve Roach one time, and I was
For real.
talking about,
Steve Roach for
yeah,
real.
yeah, met him in Tucson a couple years ago before a concert, and we were talking about music, jazz music too. And then he expressed how with ambient music,
Wow.
one can improvise as well. You can, it's a different type of language, right? So
Of course,
uh,
improvise is there.
yeah, like when you're creating, Omar, there are times things come to your mind, right? And
I understand. I understand. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, Steve Roach, you meet him in real life. Wow.
yeah, it was a
Is
great experience.
yes. So okay, should we jump to another question?
Sure.
So, how you discover your particular sound? That's my second question.
Yeah. Well, related to what we were just discussing with the when I first started creating this type of music, um, the different individuals that I listened to, of course, I absorbed what I was hearing,
Mhm.
and that language, like I was talking about with jazz music, and then a lot of the other types of music I was listening to. And I was going to say that not only like straight ahead jazz, but the ECM record label out of Germany, from the 70s, I think it was starting late 60s, maybe early 70s, had some artists like Keith Jarrett, the guitarist Terry Ripdahl from Norway, who I really liked, and they were adding a lot of space to their
Mhm.
improvisations, leaving a lot of room. So it was a nice segue, or connection, if you will, between jazz and ambient music. Like Eno was creating in the 70s.
Brian
So
Eno. Wow.
yes, yeah. Um, so for my sound, I think it's a lot of, and being a guitar player, um, I may approach what I'm writing a little differently than maybe a keyboard player, piano player, or another instrumentalist. So um, the different styles of music that I like, growing up and when I was starting to create this music, I think have helped define the sound that I have. In addition to, a lot of the tools I use now, I'm not using necessarily just straight ahead, or hardware synths. I use a lot of software now, and there are tools available with the software that allow you to do some really amazing sound design, and you can slice and cut up,
A
and
lot of plugins. There's a lot of plugins you can make a sound, amazing sound design.
oh, it's
Everything you can
amazing.
do.
Oh yeah, there's so much you can do. And so um
I'm a plugin
one
user.
thing, yeah, and oh, one other thing I didn't mention is Japanese ambient music I'm very fond of as well. There's a certain logic and simplicity. Um, that's a maybe not the right word, because there are some complexities, but there's a directness to what you hear, and even a minimalism, and then really great textures even today. But going back to the 80s, um, on to now. So I think all those, it's a big pot, and you put all those ingredients in, and that's, I think, where my sound comes
Yes.
from.
Awesome. Wow. A lot of things, a lot of informations. Wow. So that's the second question. So the third question, which approach do you follow?
I mean, the approach is just to, I'll maybe pick up my instrument, my guitar, or I have some keyboards, controllers, and I'll start with a melodic idea. Um, and I think that it may be a certain chord that has a certain quality or a feeling, and then I can build from there. Or maybe there's a progression that I've been playing on the guitar, and a chord progression, or a certain sound of melody that I played, and then I'll record that. In the old days, I would record onto a cassette
You can
player,
you
and
can create some melody on guitar, ambient melody. So nice
yeah.
sound, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, and many times I'm using the guitar as my tool to create the melody, just to record it. So I'm just more fluent on guitar than on piano. So then what comes out of it when I'm done with the recording, you may not recognize the guitar, or I may have not even kept the guitar part. I'm just using the guitar as the means to capture the notes, and the chords. So
Yeah,
but
understand.
that's my approach. And then, I'll build layers. I like to use layers. It may be more subtle though. It may be you don't know that I'm using three or four different synthesizers weaving in and out to create certain
Mhm.
textures, and then using, like we were talking about earlier, various plugins to maybe shape the sound even further, whether it be like a
Understand
granular.
this.
Yeah, oh yeah, like granular delays.
Yeah, granular delay. I
Oh yeah.
use Valhalla DSP plugins that
Oh
bundle. That's my favorite, when I
yeah.
create
Oh, I
ambient.
agree. I agree, Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Valhalla plugins. Um, I think I've got almost every one, and then just try to find a different way of using them. I bought some Moog plugins that I use more sporadically, but the Valhallas are really good. And then there's some others that do a lot of
You
granular
have
shaping. Emergence is one. Delay, Deelay. Anyway, they do a
you
lot
have
of
you have
just
Isotope Iris too.
yeah.
Isotope Iris
It,
too. You can make a soundscape on it.
oh, it's amazing. Pulse Stretch is another really cool tool I use occasionally just to you record a particular idea and just has a great algorithm to stretch the the notes, but it has a certain way of blending it so you don't hear oh, I can't think of the term right now, but
Yeah,
it's a very smooth transition.
yeah, I
And but
understand.
so I think we're very fortunate at this time. There's so many great tools to create music, and then I think it's important too to talk about when you have so many tools available, especially with software, and if you've got all these different instruments around you. I like the approach or strategy of limiting as well. I'm only going to use certain sounds for this piece, and then the challenge for the writer is to come up with some interesting ideas. Ambient music to me can still be melodic and have um,
I understand,
movements.
yes.
Yeah.
Feeling,
So
movement, yes.
right. So and that again contributes to your earlier question, having your own sound, and each of us is unique and has a different way of hearing and composing. So it's always fascinating when we
Everyone got his style, you know, in
yeah.
music. Everyone. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. So, and you start to hear it more and more, like we're talking about Steve Roach. You can hear one of his pieces now, and you're more likely to know it's one of his works, even though it's an ambient piece, a soundscape, if you will. Um, there are people that have a signature kind of approach and sound.
Awesome. Wow. Wow. You're a masterpiece, my friend. So, another question. What gears do
Okay.
you use in studio and live performance? Can you hear my
Yeah.
voice?
Yeah.
Good.
So, so, um, I was mentioning that I had gotten a Juno 60 very long ago, a great deal, by the way, when I bought it because it was analog. And at that time, digital synthesizers had been out for a few years already. And so I went to a keyboard store, and that synthesizer was very cheap at that time. Now they're more rare or rarer
Uh,
and much more expensive today. But at that time, I got that, and so I was using um, for several years, that type of hardware, using synthesizers to create the sounds that I was hearing. But then at some point, probably 10 years ago, I'd already been using, DAWs, recording software already, and just got more interested in using the soft synths and soft synthesizers and plugins available. I was using Reaper for a number of years, and then I had it available. I don't know why I never started using it earlier. I started using Ableton Live.
yeah,
Um,
my favorite DAW.
you liked it? Yeah. About 5 years ago, I started using it, and um, I'm interested in hearing why you liked using it.
I love Ableton Live, but he take a lot of RAM, he's a good DAW. It's a perfect.
Well, I guess maybe I didn't consider using it for so long because I considered it more a tool for DJs. And but then I started thinking about it and just um, changing the paradigm or the way you think about creating music to create the clips rather than to do linear sound, which you do eventually when you're composing, right? But the idea of creating clips and different ideas seemed like a very efficient workflow with Ableton Live. But then not only that way of recording ideas, and then you can lay them out in a linear fashion, but the tools and the plugins that are available natively in Ableton Live were very impressive. And then, of course, third-party plugins and Max for Live, which I use as well. As you know, you can build your own devices.
You can build everything in Max for Live. It's a
Oh, it's
language
amazing.
inside the program. It's a
Yeah,
language.
right. And I'm not the best coder, but there's certainly many.
I'm not using Max for Live for real life, respectfully,
Yeah,
because I have standard
but
version. That's sweet.
but there's some amazing tools that people have put together that I employ. Things. I'm sure, Omar, you've got some similar interests in in using these tools. Like I like to put a little bit of a tape wobble on some of the songs, just for maybe nostalgic effect, like the '80s. A lot of people do this with synthwave and that type of a vaporwave type of sounds. So an example, there was a Max for Live device that I put called Tape, and it allows you to do flutter and wow, and just like an old, tape delay. Or it almost sounds like you're listening to music on a VCR or old cassette, but I do it very subtly on some songs, songs or instruments to give that real flavor. So it's not just pristine digital clear. And so anyway, yeah, so Ableton Live, you just have, I think, a great opportunity to explore and shape sounds that perhaps with others you can. I just really enjoy the workflow.
Yeah, me too. Especially the arrangement view. I like arrangement view.
Oh yeah.
When I like when I record, an arrangement is perfect.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it's a great tool. You don't have to think so much necessarily once you're familiar with the with how everything works. It's a great inspiring creative tool to come up with new ideas as well. So I
Yeah.
really enjoy that. Another thing I do is there is a guitar, well, it's a plugin called MIDI Guitar 2. I think they're going to come out with version 3 soon. And it's a plugin that allows me to plug in my guitar directly into my interface to the computer.
And you
And
can
then
record immediately.
I can trigger any synthesizers I have, either physical or soft synths, with
Yeah.
this without a special pickup, which is great. I can use any of my guitars, um, electric, acoustic, bass, anything that it will recognize any signal. And then I can use that. I have a breath controller as well. I can use to control um, modulation and velocity. So I can shape
Everything,
sound.
everything is a system. Everything you can do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's so many opportunities. It's similar to the uh, is it Novation has that one keyboard that's velocity sensitive, and so there's similar things you can do with using this device, and so it's just another way for me to create sounds. And so many times I've played or input guitar and just to capture the MIDI information, the notes, and then I can shape the sound separately. So it's not really creating guitar. It's just I'm using the guitar to capture the notes that I'm inputting. So it's fun.
Wow. Yeah, you can do everything with Ableton. I can
Oh,
do everything
it's
with my Ableton. I can shape sound. I can use EQ. I use a lot of EQ when I create music.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean the possibilities are endless, and it's really exciting to have
I
all
know.
these options. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So another question. Who would you most like to calibrate with?
Oh, well, there are so many terrific artists.
Mm.
I joined Wayfarer Records last year, and just put out a new recording with them, and that was great fun. But the going back to the record label itself um, is really a great unit of creative people who, you know, the idea is to collaborate with each other on each of our releases. Now, on my debut, that was, you know, purely me recording. Except Sean O'Brien Smith played fretless bass on a song and added a much needed component to that particular song. And so yeah, that's right. We did do a collaboration for that. And so I've collaborated with another label mate, JJ Ray, who goes by Ambiente Solstice. Does a lot of great work, and he did an ambient jazz recording, which I played not ambient guitar. I played more jazz guitar on two songs, and so
Ambient jazz?
yeah, it was like ambient jazz, which was very cool. I think there have been different conceptions of it throughout the years, but this had a really great, unique sound. We did a listening party last week, and I was just blown away by not only his writing and playing, but then how it was all mixed together in the sound, and it had this great ambient, you know, feel. Yet there were so many guests who contributed solos or different parts that were just astounding. And so that's who I really want to collaborate with are, you know, a lot of the folks that I work with on Wayfarer Records. So I'm really excited about some additional opportunities. In fact, JJ and I are writing some songs together right now, and we'll see how that turns out. And it's a more ambient space music type of feel, um, maybe with a little bit of jazziness in there, but it's much more ethereal and spacey, is how it's going right now. So I don't, and there's so many other people, you know. I did something with Paul Heaton last year. I know you've interviewed
Me
Paul.
too, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and
Continue
you've done
tomorrow.
work
Yes.
with Paul. Yeah, so it's great
Yeah.
fun.
I
Yeah,
like Paul. I like Paul. He's genius.
yeah. So
He's a
Omar,
good
you and I have
musician.
a lot of like-minded things too. So it'd be really fun to do something as well with you. So I mean, there's so many um, opportunities to create really interesting music, and I think
I
collaboration's so important.
is yeah, so important to I think to share yourself, to maybe explain to yourself. I don't know, but it's important. I see.
Hmm. Well, uh, you know, I had been doing independent releases for a long time, and I really, well, let me start with, I create music that I will enjoy listening to myself. So
Me too.
I, yeah, and so if
When I
I
create
like
the
this,
album, when I create
yeah,
the album, I listen to it many times and I laugh. Oh, I create that album. It's nice.
yeah, right, right, and you know, we get better with each recording we do. You learn something new, or you learn. Actually, I like to go back and listen to some things and say, okay, this is an idea I'd like to evolve further. So doing that independently is great because you can develop your own style, your own sound. Then when you start collaborating, though, it's great because you get the feedback from somebody else about, oh, or maybe you're inspired or challenged to do something that you didn't even think you could do. So I think
Yes,
collaboration is
that's the
very
right
important.
answer. That's the right
Yeah.
answer. Good. Yeah. Calibration is more important. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
thinking to make
I
another
agree.
collaboration with Bo because
Yeah.
he's a great person, a great musician.
Oh,
So
yeah.
another question. What's next for you as an artist?
Well, continuing this collaborative idea that just kind of started happening organically with Ambiente, Solstice, JJ Ray. We want to create like music that's heartfelt, that is engaging for the listener. I mean, it's ambient music, so it can be something that's maybe in the background, right? Maybe you don't have to think about it. Maybe there's some things that the listener says, "Oh, that's just really interesting," or that makes me feel good. I mean, I was thinking about this.
And
There's so
the
much going on
ambient
in the.
music is more relaxing music.
It is, and the founder of our label is a psychologist. He's a PhD in psychology and has done studies on the effect of music um, on individuals. I don't have the study to cite it or studies to cite it, but Dave Luxton, our founder of the record label, is actually interested in this as well. And I think music has, well, think about it. When you listen to rock music, it can make you feel a certain way. Jazz music, any style, um, and even within each style, the way a particular individual plays or a group plays has a particular impact on your well-being or how you feel at that moment. So I want to continue to create beautiful music. However, I like to challenge myself to put textures to make it organic or real on top of it. And
I
then I
know.
want to, I like to include experimental ideas that I have, try something new, and then it's always a challenge to keep it minimal. For me, that's my goal, is to keep it as simple as I can, but yet um, make it interesting to a listener. So that's always a fun challenge.
Good
And I think,
job.
yeah, I think presenting the challenges to yourself is what keeps it interesting for you to keep creating.
Yes, you're right. A right answer for the good question. Okay, another question. Do you experiment with other genres before setting on ambient?
Yeah, for sure. Like we were talking about earlier. When I was really young, played what we call folk music here, and rock music. I played in some rock bands, of course, when I was in elementary school, high school, and then, but always listened to other styles of music. I was exposed to at home. Um, I grew up in the same town as this great jazz mandolin player, Don Sternberg, from the Chicago area, but he's internationally known for playing jazz mandolin. And his father was actually my science teacher at one point. So
Wow.
I was lucky to, my mother particularly exposed me to music, took me to events. So I played sports, but I was always interested in music too, playing
It's
in
nice to find
school band.
yourself with a family love
Yeah.
art.
Oh yeah. And though they didn't play musical instruments, my mother was a school teacher. She recognized, giving me opportunities to explore, these things. And she was a great person in that, to be compassionate to other people. And I think that that combined with, just gave me a sense of wanting to appreciate other forms of music and just always have an open mind about this. So I played clarinet and school band, and then got a guitar when I was
You
9.
you play a lot of
And
instruments, Kelly. A lot of
that's, yeah, I've always,
clarinet, piano, guitar, everything.
well,
Everything you play.
so I
That's
think it's
nice.
sound. I
That's
just like
nice.
sound and creating sounds.
You
No
like
matter the
to
instrument.
discover new things, new instrument, new sound. Yeah, make you more open.
Right, I agree. Well, Omar, you do too, though. You're interested in lots of different sounds.
Yeah, because I'm a various. I like to discover new things.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, you're very curious, and open-minded to these things. And I think, yeah, so that's what's always nice. Also, when you meet like-minded people, like we can talk about these ideas and there's, well, it's these are opinions. There may be no right answer, but the whole idea is just to be open and explore what others' experiences are, and then maybe I can learn something new that I can apply when I'm creating my music as well.
Masterpiece.
Hopefully.
I swear you're a masterpiece. So another question. We just still have two questions and we have just 8 minutes.
Oh,
So I
it's
hope we can. Yeah,
gone
it's
by,
a 40 minutes. It's okay.
gone by quickly. Yeah.
It's okay. We will continue in the future. So another question. What is what? Not okay. Let's see that question because of my phone. What is that you learn as a musician from each new album that you compose and record?
So yeah, good question. I really like that question because I think it's multifaceted. I can learn about what it is that I can do to more efficiently capture my ideas and then express what I'm trying to convey with the music. So there's that. That's more of a process and a technical component. That's always important. But I think it's important not to get too caught up into that. I think it's more important to say, what can I learn to take my experiences to create music that touches each listener personally, or um, with some level of humanity, right? So I think, and I don't mean that in a self-important way. I just mean that it's a gift to be able to create music and share that. And so my wish is that I can create something that will help. Just if it's one listener, who that's okay. It helps me. So I hope that I can share this with other people, because yeah, just to help an individual just feel better in that moment, right? It's almost as if you get lost in the music, you feel really great. And so, or you just feel maybe not great, but you just feel real in that moment, because every single person suffers in some way, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's your mental well-being, whether like all the horrible things going on in the world with war, or thing like that. That's inconceivable. So it's important to share uh, some way, or can I learn to more directly create music that people enjoy? So that's what I'm trying to do every time.
You helping
I
people with your music.
I would hope so. I mean, I don't want to think that, and there's so many great musicians out there. There's so many great pieces. It's almost impossible to keep up with all the incredible music being created. In fact, when I hear people say that there's no good music, I'm just generalizing, but you'll hear occasionally somebody complain there's no good music any longer, and they're referencing back 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. And I think the trouble is they're not listening, or they're not relating in some way, for whatever reason, to what's being created today. Music is dynamic. It's always changing. And then we have, I think as musicians, we have a way to, even if it, like I said, even if it's one listener, of course you want to have more listeners of your own music, but again, it's not about being self-important. It's about just sharing this gift with other people and maybe helping people to answer your question. Yeah.
Wow. So the last question, and we still have 4 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed today. I'm very happy to see you for a special, and it's a
Yeah.
great
All right.
honor for
Yeah.
me.
Great to talk with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a
It's my
great
pleasure.
pleasure.
So
I
okay.
love it. And
So another question. Any advice for those looking to start producing electronic music Is there a particular setup or process that may help others?
Yeah. So, in fact, I was talking to somebody in my community here the other day who was interested in, plays guitar, wants to know how to record music, and um, so it was the technical side of it, getting a computer to with recording software, an interface to record your instruments into, that type of thing, and something to monitor, headphones or monitors, some basic equipment, right? And whatever instrument you play. But what I think is important, that's the technical stuff. So I think for electronic music, um, again, we were talking about Ableton Live, how we really enjoy using that software. And there was it Bitwig? There are a couple others that are comparable, Pro Tools as well, and other things that individuals use. But I think we've got a great wealth of information. You can go find video tutorials, and you can, not only as a source of inspiration on how to create the music, which you can see how people compose the music, but just for the technical knowledge as well, and then approaches to making music. So I don't know, my best advice is, start with your instrument and compose your music, and then find a
Yes.
means for capturing it, and then listen, try to recreate. I mean, this is okay. This is what we all do when we start playing an instrument or writing music. It's okay
I think
to
experiment with the different ideas.
experiment with anything. Anything you create is valid. It's coming from your heart. It's self-expression. It will get better every time you create something new. You'll learn what you're doing, and you can refine what you're doing. But I was going to say, it's okay to imitate someone that you admire, because there was a reason that you were drawn to that music. So it's okay to take that and try to create something similar, just as a way of learning, of course. And then, um, like everybody is unique, we all have our unique DNA, our own fingerprint, right? So you're going to evolve your own sound.
About any advice. So it's such a great advice. You just give it to me now.
Oh,
So
thanks, Omar.
yeah. So for me, let me talk about myself. How I discover electronic music. I'm just the only artist from Baghdad who play electronic in the whole country. So no one here know electronic. It's very rare here in Iraq. Just imagine. So I discovered electronic music in 2014, but I have a long journey with the music. I entered the world of the music for special when I was 16 years old. So a simple game
Mhm.
changed my a Guitar Hero. When I was a teenager, I can play it. Yeah, I discovered it, I played it. That game inspired me to enter the world of music. So at that
So
time, I
who
do a lot of research about it, rock, metal, country. Yeah, I have long journey. I am a good listener of music.
right.
But when I just the first artist I discovered is Brian Eno, 2014.
Okay.
So I'm just watching the videos on YouTube and I see ambient for relaxing. I listened to it and this music inspired me. So I started to research and I found that electronic music, there's a genres, and I
Yeah.
start to listen to that music. In 2019, I started to compose ambient music. Yeah. We don't
Nice.
we don't have here any store to buying a synthesizer. We don't have any academy to studying electronic. It's very rare
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Iraq, a lot of things, and yeah, it's a long story. But here, art is different. Electronic music here is not available. And I wish one day that electronic can be available in the whole country, so anyone can know that kind of genre. It's awesome. Electronic music is awesome, awesome music.
Hmm. So
So
you are, so you really in Baghdad, you are one of the only creator. You're kind of a
yeah,
trailblazer, if you will, is the term, right? For creating this type of music. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I'm just asking people to listen to that kind of music, and they see that music is weird because no one know that kind of music. I
Right.
feel sleep. Ambient, you know, ambient is much relaxing, but I try to add some drums and melody, make it something, give you an
Right.
energy.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you stay in the tone of relaxing, it's not good. But you need to change your style, you know,
Sure. No, I
change your
agree. It's
style,
good.
change your genre. I'm a various artist. I accept everything. I'm open to accept everything in music and any type of art.
Oh, for
So yeah.
sure. Do you ever incorporate any sounds from when you were younger or other influences in what you're doing with ambient music?
So I calibrate. Yes. First of all, I start to ask people here when I discovered the electronic. Ask people about that kind of music. Ask people about to discover electronic. Sharing my music with the people to see if my people accept that kind of music or not.
Right.
Because you know it's very rare here. It's very rare. I try to go live performance, but I'm a little bit afraid because this society never accepted the advanced artwork. You know, Iraq, a lot of things here, and yeah, it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, I'm just to play ambient by myself. But I found a couple of artists in Iraq. They play electronic, but not in Baghdad, in another city. I tried to
Okay.
contact with them. Yeah, a few people, 3 or 4 people. I'm really happy at last. I found
Yeah.
someone.
It's
You
important.
know?
It's important to have a community.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my label mates lives, I live in 50, 60 miles outside of Chicago, in the United States. And I have a label mate who plays war guitar, which is this really interesting guitar with like, I don't know how many strings it has. I forgot if it's 12, but I mean, they're bass strings and guitar. Anyway, but he is, a nearby individual. There are a few, of course, Chicago is a big city, a few artists that live in this area, but live performance of this music is not very common either here. I You could go to any place and hear rock music. There's
Yeah.
several places in my community I could go hear rock music, or pop music, perform live. Maybe a few places will play jazz,
It's beautiful when you
but
perform live, you know. It's very
you're right.
beautiful. You start to
But
play and
right,
everyone listen. It's a great experience, you know.
but at ambient music, no. Maybe I could I could book. There's a performance center I could book, and maybe we would get a few people show up. There is a Buddhist temple which does interesting music. That would work. But there aren't many venues that will do this. I know in the United States, and I think across the world, what I've seen. We did go to one performance in the city of Chicago at a large cathedral. Um, um, oh, who was the performer? Spanish ambient Saez, was his last name. Why can't I remember his first name? We saw his performance, and
In
then
cathedral, right?
Cezanne,
Inside the
yeah,
cathedral.
and then they do they've got the light show, the laser light show within, which is amazing. I think Steve Roach has done that at a few cathedrals.
Yeah, he
Um,
do.
and so I've had to travel to Tucson several times to go hear him play because people aren't doing tours with that music. It's just not a thing to do.
Yes.
But I'm glad you found some like-minded people in
And
Iraq.
some of people in North Iraq playing electronic, and they have a festival supporting artists.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
so when they found me, they feel shocked. I'm feel shocked too. Someone play electronic.
Yeah. So
Yes,
what's
it's
your
very rare here. Yeah, very
what
rare
is your
here to play music.
yeah.
What?
I was gonna say, what is your approach to composing or to creating?
Well, for special, let me start. I love space ambient. I love drown. Drown my favorite. And ambient for special. I love dub techno. I like to create something with the ambient and techno with the ambient. You know, it's very 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 nice. When I wish that one day I go to live performance. You know, and everyone can listen my music. I want to
Yeah,
helping
right.
people. You know, I want to help people to discover the advanced artwork. Even I do all that by myself. So I'm a self-taught artist. Uh,
Hmm.
I never go to fine art, to studying music theory, everything by myself,
Yeah, right.
So I start to explore myself to this world and to asking people about the electronic, to discover more, to understand about the electronic music and the artists. So that's why I create my channel, because I want to know everything about that kind of music, because it's perfect. I like to
Oh yeah,
calibrate with people. I like to calibrate with people. I like to share myself, share my music, and share my music to the audience. I like to helping people with my music. Yeah, it's very nice
I
to
agree.
calibrate.
I, it,
And my main inspiration is nature.
ah,
I like to
ah,
inspire from nature. I like to inspire from movies, from music, because I listen a lot of music, and it will be a part of my inspiration because I like to listen to music from another artist. Maybe you or Paul Hedan or Rodrigo, everyone. So I
oh
like
right.
to listen to a lot of music to see myself and what I want to do in my next album. And yeah, it's a great experiment.
Yeah, I can hear that with your music, the influence of nature and how that is impactful. But what's fascinating is that it can have a different impact from one song to the other. It can
Mm.
be much different of a feeling that you have. Even though, again, if you're creating ambient or you want to have more rhythm with some rhythm instruments too, but everything is unique. So yeah, it's so amazing what you can create.
Just enjoy what you create. That's all. So
Yeah,
simple.
and yeah, like we were saying earlier,
Just so
you
simple.
like
Yeah.
listening to you have to create something that you like to listen to yourself. And if it brings you some joy or you hear things that make you happy with that, I think it's so important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, um, we were talking about some of these strange plugins. There's so many that you can use, but
Everything. I think if anyone wants to start, he never want to maybe to buy a lot of synthesizers. You can start with the simple things. So the computer is your main instrument and a couple of
mhm.
plugins. They're third-party plugins, and that's all. You can do everything. Simple MIDI, simple headphone, simple computer.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I have heard there is a YouTube channel. I'll send you a link to this, Omar, where somebody has aggregated, they've gathered old, primarily old cassette tapes, maybe some records of artists that probably they're not on a major label or their recordings are out of print. So
Mm.
maybe they did so many recordings in 1985. And then once that was done, their record deal was done, or maybe they were self-produced or something, right? Amazing ambient recordings that then if I'm lucky, I could find out who that individual was and find out background on what equipment they used. I'm interested in that, but I mean, again, it's about the music, but we like to know how the music's created sometimes, right? So um, I found like one guy had a very simple Casio keyboard
Yeah.
and a nice delay pedal and reverb pedal,
That's all.
and it's recorded right into a tape recorder. Maybe like I used to use a little 4-tracker, and that was it, and created amazing music. So
Just in case you and a little bottle.
found a way with that Casio to make a sound that with the with
It's
with the
great.
reverb and delay to
Yeah.
create a nice soundscape.
If,
My point is, you like you're saying, for somebody starting out, you don't need you don't need thousands of dollars or whatever
yeah.
so much money. You can do this in a way that's
You can do everything in one plugin. Just one plugin, one synthesizer.
right.
You can do everything from scratch. You can build any sound.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
it's your mind, your creativity in your own head, right? So
Yes. Yes, you're right.
so
Everything you can do.
so don't let any barrier get in your way.
No, no,
Create,
no, no.
do it. Make
I will
music,
still create music
make art.
even I die. And if I die, I will still create music in another life.
Well, that's um what was I who is
It's much
the
important
what
for me, music. It's much important for me, my friend.
what you were
It's a
saying
part
is
of my life.
trying to remember there was a Sufi musician who said this. He was talking about music and vibration and our bodies and our souls and the vibration we create. And after you die, you still vibrate for a long time, right? People remember you or they remember your music.
Yes,
It goes on.
yes. Yeah. People
So,
never die because my music will still live forever inside the people. So your
right.
soul will be here in the music, inside the music.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So music is an important part in my life. I can't live without music.
Mhm.
I
Well,
it's my breath, you know. I can't.
it's essential. There have been
It's a,
times,
it's a language.
yeah, of course, for me where it ebbs and flows. Um,
Wow.
I was performing a lot of music, but that was with jazz groups. And at certain points, it was discouraging because I wasn't creating my music. I was playing other people's music and interpreting it. But that's when I just decided I really need to focus on this music. And so that's another bit of advice is many times, you know, when we're creating music, it can be, you may be discouraged. Somebody may be discouraged with what they're creating. They don't, one day it sounds great and the next day, maybe not so much, but that's okay. You
Yes,
just
you're
keep
right.
doing it every day,
Yes, 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 you're right.
every day.
Sometimes when I create a track, I when I listen to it, I found a little bit in mixing, so I start to rebuild it again. And yes, he's good. And yeah, by mistakes I learn, you know.
Yeah, of course. And so I know you've talked about this on other podcasts with Eno. Eno has so many good approaches
Wow. You
to
know, as a pioneer in
to
ambient,
and just his what's the what was
I
it, the
think he's one
street.
of the greatest person on the earth about he talk about music. It's a philosophy.
Oh, it is, and he has tools and techniques for just every day, how to get started and creating limitations to not overthink what you're creating. Just go do this and follow this path, and then at the end of the session or end of the day, you have now created something. Don't, I mean, that's advice to
I
follow,
take a
not
lot of
to.
great advices from him. He's a masterpiece. I
Oh
watch a
yeah.
lot of interviews about him, and he talks. He's a mind blowing artist. Even when I listen to his music, he take me to another dimension. Wow.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that one is masterpiece. No talking about the brain, you know. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah, such a great person.
Oh
And
yes, yes.
yeah. So, do you wish to create a new album in 2025?
Do I wish to what now?
Do you wish? No, not now, but in 2020, next year. Do you wish to create an album next year?
Oh yeah, for sure. I plan to have one completed October of this year. I've been writing a lot of music. I just had this new record come out, Meditations of the Cosmos, and that
Wow.
one
Do you have
was
do you
released.
have a demo track? You just
Oh,
not
yeah,
completed
yeah,
yet.
yeah. I'll send a demo track, but this one, great.
Yeah,
So that one just
congrats.
came out, and I really
Congratulations.
am.
Nice demo.
I enjoyed listening to. I listened to this one. So you can find this on Bandcamp, but then there's There's the video
Yeah.
pieces on YouTube and all the
As
platforms.
a new release, yes, a new release.
Yeah. So it's been, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Nice cover, nice cover of the CD. I like
oh
it.
yeah. That's Dieter Spears designed the cover. Great artist. Came up with that concept and did the video. We had one of the songs did a video with great visuals that he did.
Wow.
So I'm going to do one in October. And then, as I mentioned, I'm collaborating with JJ Ray on one. So then in 25, oh yeah, I'd like to do at least 2 that year. So, it keeps coming. And that would be hopefully for the record label. But then I'm considering doing some experimental sounds and doing a self-released one by the end of the year as well. So I'm gathering
Nice.
as many of the experimental pieces that may be minimal, maybe, 20
Good
minute
news.
long, 20-minute long piece that just evolves. And there's
20 minutes.
there's a guy, well, just maybe something a long form piece that just is very minimal, droning with textures.
Slow, with
Yeah,
textures, something nice
yeah,
to my ears.
right, right.
Keep doing the
So
music, my friend. You're the best.
yeah, so
Yeah,
never stop creating, never stop.
of course. Even I'm by myself, but I will still be creating the music.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love
Yeah, that's
when
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great thing.
yeah, of course. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I have a lot of questions. What should I ask? I don't know. Yeah, what should I ask? It's a great conversation. Really, really enjoy today to talk to you and know your journey in music, know your journey in art. I really enjoy about your answers and everything. You're a masterpiece. But keep doing
Oh,
art, keep doing the calibration music and everything.
oh, yeah,
So
thank you, Omar. Yeah, I appreciate your inspiration. You are a big proponent of the music, of course, a great creator as well of this, and so you are an important part of this community that inspires us to keep creating. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
so I inspired from you, from people. Yeah, it's nice. It's just a
It's
circle.
it's the vibrations and the energy that we
Music
share. I
never
love that.
die. Music never die.
Never, never.
Ever. Yeah. Really happy, my friend. It's a great conversation. It's been maybe 2 months. I never grade any interview because, I'm a little bit busy with my music, grading soundscapes, grading sound design, improve my sound. A lot of things I want to do. I want to give a best experience in my sound. So I still training sound design, grading
Yeah.
sound from scratch, discovering a lot of things, weird sound, everything I want to do.
Hmm.
No
Yeah.
limit.
Oh yeah. And I mean, and then when you've created really nice sounds, do you go back and say, like in Ableton, I've now got my presets, the sounds that I've created, and then I may use it on another track subtly because now that's my sound, right? So
Yeah, yes,
I've got
that's your
I've got my
sound.
little pieces that I can
Yeah,
put in. That's my signature, or that's the idea that I put in, once an album, or just so there's a continuity from album to album. Hopefully,
yeah. In 2023, I built a lot of tracks and albums. It's the best year for me because I create a music collaboration. It's really nice. With the Paul
hmm
he done is a great artist. After the interview, I just asked him about a calibration, and it's great, great, great
Oh yeah,
musician. So Infinity
very very
Mirror,
much so.
yeah, Infinity Mirror.
Three of
That's a
us could
track.
work on one track. We could do one track, have a super
I
group.
wish, I wish, I wish.
That would be fun.
John Scott told to me. Do you know John Scott Shepherd, the
Hmm.
the space ambient composer? So he talked to me about the calibration in the future. Me and him and Shane Peck, Shane Peck is a
Oh
great poet. He's a great poet.
yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
these opportunities are wonderful to do.
I just
It's
imagine the
amazing.
calibration, really, really nice. Just to to challenge ourselves. What we will create, I don't know. But
Hmm.
yeah, it will be a great experience and great thing we will do together. You and
Yeah.
I and Paul Hedon.
Yeah,
He's a
of
great
course.
artist. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we will keep
Just
making the music.
cover the whole
I'm
world
I'm
with the
happy,
sound.
that I'm really happy, that's not talking. So anyway, I want to thank you for the interview and everything. Just keep making art. You're the best. If you need anything, just drop me a message. I will be always there. I will keep making the music, keep making art. I want to just thinking what I want to create in next year. I don't know. So yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
hope you enjoy with my discography,
You can see.
Barka. Yeah, yeah, okay,
Oh,
relax. I know.
now you can see me.
No, okay. So I
Yeah,
hope
very
you
good.
enjoyed my discography with Bandcamp. I great, yes, nice music. Ambient, space, drone, yes.
Yeah,
Various. Do you listen to some of my music?
of course.
What do you like about what the track you like?
I don't have a track, but I can say that the sounds that I've heard, the stuff that you have on Bandcamp that I've heard, I like the flow of what you do, and then the textures that you use. So you've got a certain your textures are not like the textures I use, even though we're using Ableton, right?
Yes,
So,
yes. We have
and I
two
think
both
this is,
basically.
but this is because this is coming from your mind. This is what you're hearing, and so that's what I appreciate about it. And I did hear one song you did with Paul. You know, Paul has he has a unique sound too, right? But then what you
I
played,
grade the sequences. The sequences is mine,
right?
I grade, yeah.
Yeah,
And the
right.
band from both.
Because well, right, and then you can introduce, and I think we talked about this earlier too. You um change it so that you can have the rhythms in there too. So like if you did the sequences, he Paul has a nice piano sound, and then he does pads. I think he's using
Yeah.
Ionosphere.
Yes,
Uh,
this is his favorite plugin.
it's
He,
his
he
that's
used
his
Animasphere.
yeah.
He
So
always
then
told
yeah,
me he used Animasphere.
yeah. Well, that's why I was interested in what you would do with you know, in imparting your influences, you know, in that way. So that's really good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it for your words, my friend.
Oh,
Really
do you want
happy.
to show? My grandson is here. He has a cicada that just
Hello,
came through. I
hello.
don't know if you can see.
It's your son.
We have cicadas are a giant bug that they only emerge every 17 years here. So
So
yeah,
he will become a great musician like his father. He
so
will
he was
follow your
so
steps. He will follow
yeah.
your steps.
I hope
That's
so.
maybe maybe I can interview him when I become 50 years
Oh
old.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's
but I
nice.
think another thing too, like with our community, our friends,
Mm.
yeah, I need to download your music too. I've been trying to catch up on stuff like
I can send it
uh
to you for free. I have in my laptop. I can send you in one
oh, I don't
link.
mind supporting you at all. Because I do listen to everybody that I come across that we have some type of discussion or relationship with talking about music and sharing. So um yeah, I think that's important. So
I think yes, that's really important, not just important. To meeting people, meeting artists, um, knowing your journey about the music. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, okay. Anyway, thank you again. And if you need anything, drop me a message. And
oh
that's
sure.
all the questions I have today. Thank you so much, my friend. Stay safe. Keep creating music. And until the next time, maybe we can make another interview. You and Bohidan together, or you and
Yeah,
Denk
there
together.
you go. That'd be
Or
great.
three, we're talking
Yeah,
three together. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
we could. Thank you,
Of
Omar.
course.
Have a
Thank you so
great
much.
evening, and yeah, have a nice weekend, and hope to
Thank you
talk
so much.
soon.
Have a nice day. Of
Yeah,
course. We
have a
will
good
talk
day.
soon. Have a great
Yeah, of
day. Thank
course.
you so much and see you around.
Bye. Honor. Thank you, Omar. Thank you.
It's such a
Bye.
great honor for me, my friend. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.